Good morning, class 12th. Welcome you all again in Classroom Notes by Rekha Jain. And today we are going to discuss the poem A Thing of Beauty written by John Keats. And here I'll try to explain the poem line by line with difficult words and their meanings. Simultaneously, I'll try to explain the poetic devices employed by the poet here. So in the beginning, let me introduce you with the poem a bit. Actually, this poem, A Thing of Beauty, is an excerpt from Keats' poem Endymion. And this poem is based on classical Greek myth of love of the moon goddess Cynthia for a young shepherd prince Endymion. So let us discuss the poem. A thing of beauty is joy forever. Its loveliness increases. It will never pass into nothingness, but will keep a bar quiet for us, and a sleep full of sweet dreams and health and quiet breathing for us. So let us know that the poet here discusses the beauty of nature, because nature is an eternal supplier of happiness in the form of beauty. And this is conveyed through the very first line, a thing of beauty is a joy forever. Its loveliness increases. It refers to nature's charm and attraction increases, because poet is describing nature as a beautiful object. It will never pass into nothingness. That means it will never lose its meaning for us. Rather, it will keep a bar quiet for us. Bar is the reference of natural object, as I have told you earlier, and this provides shade. This is actually a shady tree, and dear students, you know how much do we aspire to have shade in the scorching heat of the sun. That provides us comfort. So nature keeps a bower, a shady tree, for us to provide comfort for us. And what else does the nature provide? And a sleep full of sweet dreams, means a very sound sleep that keeps us happy with its sweet dreams. And health and quiet breathing. Health and quiet breathing refers to the physical fitness. That means sleep refers to the psychological health, and health and quiet breathing refer to the physical health. That means nature keeps us physically and mentally fit, and that is the reason we associate ourselves to the earth, that is given in the next stanza. Here the poet employs poetic device, that is metaphor, in the word bower. That means a shady tree, because that provides us comfort. Therefore on every morrow are we wreathing a flowery band to bind us to the earth, spite of despondence, of inhuman dearth, of noble nature, of the gloomy days, of all the unhealthy and over-darkened ways, made for searching. Yes, in spite of all, some shape of beauty that moves away the pall from our dark spirits. So here poet counts all the advantages of the nature and all the negative feelings of which we the human beings have become the victim. In the very first line, poet says, it is associated with the previous line. Like poets had said that nature gives us peace and comfort, keeps us physically and mentally fit. Therefore, means that is why every morning when we get up, we associate, are we wreathing, means are we covering. Wreathing actually means combining with the help of a thread. And here what is combined? Flowers are combined, and flower is a beautiful object of nature. Why do we combine? Because we want to make a band. We want to make a circle of the flowers. Why do we want to make a circle of the flowers? Because we want to bind us with that circle to the earth. Because earth is the supplier of nature. Why do we bind us to the earth? That is given in the next line. Because we are the victims of negative qualities, and that is counted here. Spite means jealousy. Despondence means disappointment. Modern life is filled with, we have learned so many times that modern life is filled with competition, and competition brings failures too. If that brings success, that brings failures too. And when we become fail in our attempts, we are disappointed. And when we feel disappointed, we are feeling of jealous of those who are successful. So this becomes a circle, vicious circle in which we are trapped. So there are all the negative qualities like the jealousy of disappointment. When we feel disappointment, we feel jealous. And then we lack the noble natures, means noble qualities like moral values. In human dearth means lack. We lack moral values in us and we become negative in our behavior. Then what else is the bad quality? That is the gloomy days. Whenever we are feeling sad, frustrated, we feel disappointed. Once again, poet is using the same phrase. Of all the unhealthy and over darkened ways. Unhealthy means sometimes we are physically unfit. Then also we feel sad. Then over darkened ways made for our searching. Over darkened ways is attached with made for our searching. Over darkened means sadness. Sometimes sadness overpower us. Why sadness? Because in our attempts we fail to achieve success. Searching here means trial. When we try to achieve something, when we attempt to do something, so we fail and we become sad. Yes, in spite of all refers to all the negative feelings which the poet has talked earlier. In spite of all the negative feelings, there is some shape of beauty which moves away the pall. Pall means sad cover. And what is this shape of beauty? This is nature, and the poet will count all the natural objects in the next stanza. And that is why we associate ourselves to the earth, and that was conveyed in the beginning of this stanza, that we bind ourselves to the earth by reading a flowery band. And sad cover. Pall means sad cover is removed from our dark spirits when we are very sad. So let us discuss the devices. First is metaphor in the line flowery band. Flowery band refers to the beautiful thing which brings happiness in our life. Then alliteration in the word flowery band, to bind. Sound B is repeated twice. Then again alliteration in some shape. Sound S is repeated. Then alliteration again in noble natures. Sound no is repeated twice. So these are all the devices in the second stanza. Now third stanza. Such the sun, the moon, trees old and young, sprouting a shady boon for simple sheep, and such are daffodils with the green world they live in, and clear rills that for themselves a cooling covert make. Again the hot season, the mid-forest break. So here the poet is counting all the natural objects of beauty like sun, moon, trees old and young, means all types of trees, which sprout a shady bone. Sprouting here means opening up a shady bone. Shady bone means comfortable cover for us, which provides us comfort. So all the natural objects like sun provides us sunlight in the biting chill of the winters. Moon makes our life beautiful. Then trees provides us eatables and shade. Okay, so that is why the poet is talking about all the beautiful objects of nature. And for whom are these beautiful objects of nature opened up? Only for the simple sheep. This is the reference to the innocent people, and sheep is the reference of actually Jesus. Jesus is called sheep, and that is why, if you recall the poem of the childhood, Mary had a little lamb. That line indicated Mary is the mother of Jesus, and lamb refers to the Jesus. Okay, so Jesus was considered to be the apostle of innocence, and that is why a reference of him is given here. Nature keeps opening its shade and boon for only the innocent people. And again he is adding to the list of the beautiful objects of nature, like daffodils. And where do the daffodils grow? In the forest that is mentioned by the green world. They live in, they refers to the daffodils. And live in means they grow there. And what else is the natural object of beauty? Clear rills. Clear rills means small rivers. All these are beautiful objects which provide us comfort, which add attraction in our lives, and that for themselves a cooling covert make. Now here that refers to the small rivers. Small rivers for themselves make a cooling covert. Cooling means comfortable. They make a comfortable surrounding for themselves. How do they make a comfortable surrounding? Against the hot season. They protect themselves and others also. Human beings also, animals also. Everybody is protected from the scorching heat of the summer by the clear rills. The mid forest break. Break is the like this. You can see in the pic an area where flowers and other plants create their own fencing, create their own barrier. So amid the mid forest break, so many natural objects are there which provides a panorama of beauty, and this is very, very enchanting for everyone. Let us discuss the poetic devices in this stanza. First is metaphor in the word sprouting. Dear students, sprouting here is used for opening up. Then shady boon means blessings of nature. So the poet has used metaphorical expression here. Again in simple sheep, reference to Jesus. Again metaphorical expression for innocent people, not for shrewd ones. Then alliterations in all these three phrases. Sprouting a shady boon, repetition of sound S. Simple sheep, repetition of sound S. Cooling covert, repetition of sound K. Then one more device is here, that is personification. They live. Both of the words are used for living objects, which is used for flowers here. Then fourth stanza. Such too is the grandeur of the dooms we have imagined for the mighty dead, powerful ancient kings or leaders. All lovely tales that we have heard or read, an endless fountain of immortal drink, pouring unto us from the heavens brink. So until this stanza, the poet was counting all the natural objects of beauty. In addition to that, poet is talking about another thing which is also equally beautiful, like the bravery of the ancient kings, ancient leaders, or the heroes of the war. This is conveyed through the word mighty dead. That is a reference to the powerful ancient kings or leaders or any other hero which became role models for us. Why? Because they have been inspiring the generations after generations to do the deeds of bravery. And we never feel bored of listening and watching their deeds of bravery. That is why they are also the eternal source of happiness. And this is conveyed by the second line, all lovely tales. And tales of what sort? Tales of bravery that we have heard or read. And indirectly the poet is asking to follow those mighty dead because their acts of bravery are inspiring for everyone. And that is why they are the endless fountain of immortal ring. Again a reference of beauty, metaphorical expression and imagery is created here in the last two lines. An endless fountain of immortal ring pouring unto us from the heaven's brink. Heaven's brink refers to the God's residence, and God's residence is indirectly nature for us because that endows us with the bounties of beautiful flowers, water, air, sunlight, etc. So this is the never ending fountain of drink. Drink refers to the nectar. Nectar and elixir. Elixir that is tasted heavenly. So the poet has created metaphor in immortal drink and imagery in the both of the phrases, heaven's brink, God's residence, that is nature, and immortal drink, beautiful objects of nature. And author has used here metaphor and imagery also, because an image of the panorama of beautiful objects of nature is created. And then in mighty dead. Why? Because the imagery of the valor of ancient kings or the freedom fighters or our leaders is created here. So this was all in today's video. Dear students, hope you must have understood the poem, and you will try to understand